Welcome to another edition of Crew Travel right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Rhea. I am your host, and of course, I'm joined, finally, by Lee Harris from ATPI Travel. How are you, Lee?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? Certain things cropped up. And last week was obviously West Palm Beach Yacht Show, which I was at and which was very well attended, I've got to say, and probably one of my favourite shows that I've been to for quite some time.
Actually, a lot of people are saying that. I think they've really stepped up their game, and they're becoming one of the most popular ones, actually. I'd hazard to say that they're coming pretty close to Fort Lauderdale as far as popularity nowadays.
Yeah, I've got to say, I was at the Fort Lauderdale one in October, and this one, obviously, just this past week. Yeah, I've got to say, I think I actually preferred West Palm. I think the layout was a bit better. It's all in one place. You've not got to try and get between different areas like you do in Fort Lauderdale. And it was a little bit more laid back and relaxed than the European show. So, yeah, I've got to say, definitely one of my favourites so far this year anyway.
Nice. Well, let's head into the travel. Oh, I was going to ask you as well, how was Border Patrol and stuff in the U.S.? Because now we're seeing all this, chaos is happening with the chaos that's happening. Yeah. How was it to get into the U.S.?
Yeah, well, I travelled with United Airlines via Newark on the outbound flight. So obviously, first point of call into the US, you have to collect your bags, you have to go back through security. It was the easiest I've ever had it. I don't know if it's just because it was Newark Airport and their layout and stuff was excellent, but it was really straightforward, nice and simple. I was probably through collecting bags, rechecking it in on the little conveyor belt thing and through security and heading towards my gate within 45 minutes. It was so quick and so easy. So, yeah, and then on the way back, obviously, I came back via Washington. I didn't have to recollect the bags or do security again. So, it was all nice, really straightforward and nice and simple. And I will also say as well, United Airlines, I flew out with and back, and their service was phenomenal. I was lucky enough to have the, not premium economy. I was in economy, but they do an economy plus little section where you get extra legroom and stuff. If anybody is traveling and they don't want to pay the extra for premium economy, they might want to look in at the economy plus seating because it was a really good service.
Nice. Well, I'm booking flights through you pretty quick here, so you've been thinking about that for me, eh?
I can. You don't want to go via the USA, do you?
No, because I would probably get detained for trying to Jersey a border guard.
As a proud Canadian, you don't want to go via the US.
Well, no, because I would probably just start mouthing off and grab somebody's shirt and pull it over their head and start punching them out, and that wouldn't be good.
That'd be a great thing to talk about on the show afterwards, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. How was your experience traveling through the U.S.? Honey, let me tell you. Yeah. The frightening thing is I could see myself doing that. Could you see me doing that?
Yeah, I could. Yeah. I mean, I know you're sort of doing this in a joking manner, but this is something that could actually come to fruition.
I know. I think the older I get, I'm just, all the F's are gone.
Yeah.
As it were.
Yeah.
Right. UK passport hikes. What's going on there?
Yeah, the government are going to increase passport application fees from April the 10th, with a standard online application made within the UK rising from £88.50 to £94.50 for adults and from £57.50 to £61.50 for children. The proposals, which are subject to approval by Parliament, will also see the cost of postal applications increase from £100 to £107 for adults and £69 to £74 for children. Now, the fee for a premium service, basically a one-day application made from within the UK, will rise from £207.50 to £222 for adults and £176 to £189 for children. The cost of a standard online application when applying from overseas for a UK passport will also rise from £101 to £108 for adults and £65.50 to £70 for children. Now, in a joint statement about the increases, the Home Office and Passport Office said that the new fees will help the Home Office to continue to move towards a system that meets its costs through those who use it, reducing reliance on funding from general taxation.
Right. So in a roundabout way, they're just saying it's going to allow the government to continue to pay the crazy government salaries and their pensions when they're done.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, the figures that they talk about, it's just getting crazy money, just to get a passport. That's not even before you book flights or hotels or anything else. It's literally just getting a passport to be able to leave the country. A family of four, you're looking at, nearly £300 it's just ridiculous. I mean, that could potentially be 1 year's holiday, just getting your passport before you can even travel.
Yeah, I would love to turn on the news one day. Well, turn on the news, not like we watch TV anymore, but I would love to go online one day and just see, some major announcement that something, just one thing, has been significantly reduced in price, right? I mean, you never
Yeah,
see that. Can you imagine what a marketing campaign that would be?
really, yeah. Imagine that company. They'd do it right from stars, wouldn't they?
I mean, as long as they didn't make themselves broke by reducing their prices to a certain extent. But
Yeah,
I mean, if it's a medium-sized company, I mean, yeah, they could
yeah,
probably take over whatever sector it is that they're in really quickly.
yeah, exactly right. There you go.
You
Maybe
heard it
someone's
here.
listening to this and they'll do it.
I want to cut.
Yeah.
And strikes wouldn't be a weekly travel show without a little bit of strike action. And this week, we've got a bit of strike action. First off, Belgium.
Yeah, so both main airports serving Belgium's capital, that's Brussels Airport and Charleroi Airport, have cancelled all flights departing on March the 31st. That's due to a one-day nationwide strike. The strike is planned over the new government's labour market reforms. Brussels Airport said arrivals would also be affected as ground crews and security staff on the walkout will join the walkout, in protest at the new government's proposal to reform pensions and the labour market. Now, as we always advise, anyone travelling on the 31st of March to, from, or through Belgium, please keep in contact with your airline or your travel provider.
And Italy. Little strike action there too.
Yep, there is. Yep. So in Italy, people travelling and commuting in Italy in April face disruption due to a number of national strikes affecting air travel, trains, and local public transport services. Air travellers in Italy face disruption on Wednesday, the 9th of April. That's due to a strike by airport staff at all airports around the country. Now, the 4-hour strike scheduled from midday until 4 p.m. has been called by the CUB Transporti Trade Union. The walkout may affect flight schedules as well as impacting ground operations, including check-in and baggage services. On the 11th and the 12th of April, there is going to be a rail strike. So train passengers in Italy face delays and cancellations due to a 23-hour strike by railway workers. This is scheduled from 3 a.m. on Friday, the 11th of April, until 2 a.m. on Saturday, the 12th of April. This has also been called by the local trade union. Now, the walkout is set to affect both regional and long-distance train journeys. However, there will be a minimum number of services guaranteed. However, they have not given details on what these ones will be just yet.
Well, they don't want to make it easy, do they? And of course, something that we keep revisiting, I don't know, every 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. That's the electronic passport system in Europe. What's going
Yeah,
on? What is it, ETIA?
the ATPI system. Yeah, it's just an ongoing saga, really. I'm not quite sure why it's taking them so long. I know it's a lot of work, but this has been going on for about 4 years now with continual delays and cancellations. Anyway, the latest news, the European Union Directorate General for Migration and Home Affairs has confirmed that the implementation of the European Travel Information and Authorization System will now be a gradual one, consisting of a transitional and grace period. As the Directorate General has explained, as soon as the ETIAS is launched, there will be a six-month transitional period during which travellers should apply for the travel authorization. However, during the transitional period, travellers will still be permitted to enter the EU even if they have not applied for the ETIAS travel authorization, provided they meet the other entry requirements. Now, as soon as the transitional period ends, there will now be a grace period during which travellers must have an ETIAS travel authorization in order to be permitted entry into the EU member states. Nonetheless, there is an exception for the grace. Those who are entering the EU for the first time during the grace period since the end of the transitional period will still be permitted to enter without travel authorization, as long as they fulfill the remaining entry criteria. As for the other travellers who do not fall under this category, they will be refused entry into the EU if they do not hold the travel authorization when travelling to the bloc during the grace period. Nice and straightforward, eh? So basically,
Yeah, you wonder why governments waste so much money. It's because there's just a bunch of morons sitting at the top somewhere that don't
Yeah,
know their head from their ass, to be
yeah,
honest with you. I mean, it's like any common sense person, if somebody were to take a look at that and say, right, this is the way it needs to be done, make it happen. I mean, something like that could be implemented in a matter of weeks if there wasn't so many layers of bureaucracy and BS in the middle. It's just
exactly
ridiculous.
right. Yeah, it's just a nonsense. So you've got a 6 month grace period for everybody. If you forget to get your travel authorization, it's fine. You can all there now. Then after that, there's another 6 months for people who have never traveled to Europe who can still get in without one. Again, I don't know why they've made it so difficult. I don't know why it's taken so long, why there's been so many delays, why there's been so many cancelled dates that it should have been put in, and to now come up with this scenario where
Because
we're talking.
it's probably because there's like 20,000 mid-level bureaucrats that are trying to justify their jobs. So they're throwing
Yeah,
sort of a wrench in the works, hoping that they can prolong their income for a little bit longer before people realize that they're completely obsolete.
exactly
So
right.
anyway, that's just my opinion. It's been a while since we've done a show, Lee, and so all that, pent up conversation is coming at once.
It is.
Sorry. United Airlines, they had to do a UE mid-flight. Why?
Such, such a good story. This did make me chuckle when I read it, I've got to say. This weekend, a United Airlines flight en route from the United States to China had to unexpectedly divert when the pilot realized they had forgotten a crucial item. That was their passport. Carrying 257 passengers, United Airlines Flight 198 departed from Los Angeles International Airport on Saturday, March 22nd at 2 p.m. for what was supposed to be a 13-and-a-half-hour journey to Shanghai. However, nearly 2 hours into the trip, the aircraft made an abrupt turnaround heading towards San Francisco International Airport, where it landed just before 5 p.m. Passengers were reportedly given a $15 meal voucher upon arrival in San Francisco as they waited for the replacement crew. A new flight departed later that evening at 9 p.m., finally reaching Shanghai after more than 12 hours in the air, landing just before 1 a.m. local time.
Did the story say anything about him making an announcement that he was an absolute?
Unfortunately, they didn't tell the passengers straight away. It was basically just that they had to divert due to a crew situation. They didn't say exactly what it was. So passengers actually didn't find out until they'd got off the flight in San Francisco. And as you can imagine, social media blew up with passengers giving their thoughts and opinions on said captain.
And all they gave them was $15 for food
They gave
vouchers.
them a $15 meal voucher, and United Airlines did direct them to an online form that they could fill in for compensation. Whether they got compensation and how much they got has not been mentioned as of yet, anyway.
Can you imagine?
Mad, isn't it?
Oh, and why couldn't they just because doesn't every airport have like a place where you're stopped if you don't have the right paperwork? Like, couldn't they just fly him his passport on the next flight and not cause discomfort for all those passengers? I mean, would that just make sense?
It's just mad, isn't it? Completely mad. Flying. And the fact, I don't know why he realised 2 hours into a flight he didn't have his passport. I mean, strange situation. Very strange situation.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I never really believe everything you see in the news nowadays, right?
No.
I'm setting that up there for one day when you do actually see me in the news. You're like, no,
It can't be true.
We don't believe everything we see.
Yeah, that can't be true.
Right, Lee, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you back. And I have to say to anybody out there, if you do have questions, please do. We'll provide Lee's email address underneath this interview when it airs, because we never know when he's coming back to see us again. So I would say send your questions in to be answered on the next episode, but you don't want to be waiting for the next 6 months either. So I would suggest just sending them direct and asking for a direct answer.
I like to build up the the anticipation for the next show. Don't give people what they want too quickly.
Just about snorted there. Nice. Welcome back, Rhea. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll make sure that all that information there. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you again, Lee. Glad you had a great trip to Palm Beach. When's your next one?
I think I'm in Nice next month at some point, but I'm not sure exactly when.
Right. It's not a boat show, though.
It is to do with yachting, but it's not an actual boat show itself.
Okay.
I'll get the information. I can let you know.
You're not coming to Palma?
No, for some unknown reason, we've never done Palmer. So maybe it's one that we need to start looking at.
Well, it's a pretty amazing show, I got to say. And of course,
Yeah,
we're the podcast partners for Palm Beach
indeed.
Yacht Show this year.
Indeed. Yeah. When is it? I don't even know. When is the Palmer Yacht
The
Show?
end of April.
Okay. Have a look at it. That might be an interesting one to look at.
They say that it is probably the biggest sailing yacht show in Europe. So if you're sort of into sailing yachts, the bigger sailing yachts, this is the place where most of them come to show off what they've got.
Okay.
So it's a pretty phenomenal show. And I imagine it's a bit like the Palm Beach one, and the fact that it's very easy to access. Everybody's incredibly friendly.
Yeah.
And it's not overly priced. You can get in with decent, if you're just coming to visit and you want to look around, there's not a whole pile of guards everywhere making sure that, it's a pretty chilled show as well.
Yeah. Nice. And will we get to meet you there, or are you not going to be attending?
You want me to answer that?
I mean, I know the answer.
I have Lucy Gardner is going to be representing us because all the interviews have to be turned over in 24 hours. So that means I have to be working behind the scenes.
That's a very good answer. Well done.
I know, right? It took me a little while to put that together too, in case I get asked again, because I've been asked a few times now. And so I had to really think about it and put something together that sounded like appropriate.
Instead of just saying, I don't like people, I'm not going.
Yeah, I used to say that all the time. And then when you're actually sponsoring your partners with a yacht show, that doesn't sound really appropriate to be telling the person that you're, partnering with.
No.
Are you coming to see the show? I don't like people.
I don't like people, but thanks so much.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's all right. I'm going to be moving back to Canada, living in a cabin by a lake.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, and I'm going to make Trump build the wall around my house.
Keep Rhea out. Yeah.
Okay, we got to go because it's just going to get sillier from here. Lee, it's been a pleasure as always, and hopefully we'll see you again here next week.
Sounds good to me. Yep.
You've been watching another edition of Crew Travel right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Rhea. I have been your host, and on behalf of Lee and I, we thank you. We'll see you again next time.